I feel good. I love that. Tonight we're here to celebrate a book that doesn't sugarcoat a damn thing. The shit I learned in the churches is exactly what it sounds like. Real lessons from real life, messy, beautiful, brutal, and transformative. This is the kind of wisdom you only get when you've been through something. So get comfortable, open your hearts, and let's give it up for an author who kept it real from page 1 to the very last word. Now I'm going to hand it over to Tanisha as she moderates the panel. Y'all get your cameras ready and enjoy yourselves. That's the man. Yeah.
Hello everybody. Thank you guys so much for coming. This means so much to me. I am so nervous and I'm sure my panelists are too. So we're going to give some deep breaths real quick before we get started, you know. The therapist in me, okay? Okay. Yes, right. Now I'm centered, okay? If you don't know, my name is Tanisha Williams, licensed clinical professional counselor, and now author of Shit I Learned in the Churches. Love and Trauma, the survival guide for those that have been through it, right? And we're here today because I've been through it. Any position you can think of in a relationship, I played it. Right? And along with those positions came scars. When you think about trauma, so many people think about the physical trauma, the things that you can see, right? But that's not the only kind of trauma. There's emotional trauma too, okay? Emotional trauma, heartbreak, abandonment, betrayal, the trauma that we deal with on a day-to-day basis. So many people ignore it because you can't see it, but it impacts us, okay? When you think about trauma, they throw PTSD in the mix. Post-traumatic stress syndrome. It alters how you view yourself. It changes your body alarm system. And it affects how you interact with other people. So if physical trauma can do that to us, what does emotional trauma do? What does the repeated experiences of emotional trauma do to you? If you continuously experience betrayal, heartbreak, abandonment, what do you think will happen? You'll start to fear love. You'll push it away. You won't trust it. You'll try to avoid it so that you won't get hurt. But there's no avoiding it. You gotta go straight through it. And I've been straight through it, right? I used to think, why has God forsaken me, okay? Why every time I open my heart up, it ends in flames, like a whole crash collision, each and every time. And I had to understand it was my patterns. So I started to look, I had to pay attention. Right? And while paying attention, I learned something about myself. The trauma was speaking loudly. It was impacting my relationships. But I still want to know why couldn't I have a good relationship? Okay? I give so much. I pour so much. But I still ended up with the shitty end of the stick. Right? But I realized that God was using me. He knew something about me that I didn't know about myself. Okay? God made emotional trauma my story, my testimony, and my purpose, because he knew that I had the power to tell a story, right? He knew that I wouldn't hide behind guilt and shame, right? He knew that I would use my words to inform everybody else, so other people wouldn't make the same mistakes, right? And then he also knew that I wouldn't do it quietly, okay? I would tell this story so that other people can uncover their trauma and their pain, so that they can address the heart of their issues and stop acting like everything's okay. You experience betrayal, like, it's cool, it's cool. It's not cool, it hurts. You can acknowledge what hurts, because if you don't, you'll see it again. And I see it again, and again, and again, until I stopped playing, and I had to acknowledge it, right? I realized that I was sent here to break the pattern. And I wrote the blueprint so that you guys can break the patterns too. So if you got my book, Shit I Learned in the Trenches, you got my story. You got my pain. And you better use it so you won't do the same stupid shit I did, all right? Okay? I need y'all here with me. And I'm so happy that everybody is here today because now we can get to the meat of the story, right? Y'all here to help me understand my why, my purpose, and I'm glad to have y'all along with my journey. Now, for the most anticipated part of the evening, the panel, okay? We're going to get real about relationships, trauma, and its impact, and how it affects us, okay? So I want to start by introducing my panelists, and I chose these individuals, okay? Because I knew that they had a story as well. I watch people, the internet should be watching, okay? And I see each and every one of you have a struggle with relationships. I seen y'all talk about your heart online, and not too many people can do that. Everybody likes to pretend that pain doesn't exist, but in each and every one of you, I seen you speak it, okay? So I'm gonna let each panelist introduce themselves.
Hi everyone, I am Jasmine Bed. I'm a serial entrepreneur, a salon owner, a certified gap on social media. As she said, I have started being very vulnerable and just telling my story and sharing my experiences online, and I didn't realize how so many women had the same experience with me. I also wrote a book myself. It's called 30 Years of Love in 30 Days. It's about a relationship I was in for 30 days and then it was real. It was a love at first sight. It was something I never experienced. But yeah, just to sum up who I am, that's who I am. Oh my God, I'm nervous.
Okay, hey guys, my name is Lachey Smith. I am an actress, a mom of two, a single mom of two. I am an influencer on TikTok. Don't miss me with my TikTok shop. And I'm also an actress. I work on HBO, Tubi, Apple TV, and Netflix.
Good afternoon. My name is Kendria Okunji. I'm a mom, a wife, and a career-driven woman. I'm just still in awe and shocked. Tanisha just DM me and say, "Hey, I want you on my panel." I say, "Me? What do I have to say?" Me? So I'm grateful. Thank you. But yes, newly wife, new mom, a mom in her late years. So that's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
How y'all doing? That's a lot of women. Where the fellas? My fellas, hey listen, I need y'all to help me. You know what I mean? My name is Nathan Lee. I really started my career working with juveniles in detention facilities, and then ended up transferring over to working with families at risk. Juveniles, mostly young men that unfortunately come across the legal system. I ended up getting my master's in social work, getting my license. I'm also a part-time therapist. That's how I met Tanisha. And I think one of my callings that I've really been working towards is, I think, one of them is working with young men. And trying to be that example, trying to be relatable to them. One of the reasons why I like my therapist role that I'm in is because I meet a lot of young black men who don't know what therapy is, and they don't know how to, they've never found anybody that was relatable to them. And then of course y'all know in this role, a lot of times it's mainly dominated by older white men. So a lot of times if you have a young kid running around, young man, and you feel like you need a therapist, try your best to find somebody that's relatable to them. Because as soon as you see that white lady face, you're like, oh, I don't know what this lady is. You know what I'm saying? So that's me. And I'm a husband also. That's how we did it.
That's how we made it. I needed a non-toxic man in here, okay, to say some things, right? And I knew that would be him. Okay, so we're going to break this panel down in 3 segments. I had a note card, but now I got to work off my phone, so bear with me, because you know they be cutting out and stuff. Okay, but this first segment is the first blueprint, right? How do we learn to love? That's your first relationship, right? But you think it's the first relationship with a male or female. No. That's the first relationship in the first house that you've ever lived in, right? That is where the majority of my wounds came from, and I didn't even know it. Right? I remember being in college and I had to write an assignment. We used a song to describe our heartbreaks. And I chose Mariah Carey Breakdown. And I just knew I was ready to write about a boy. I sat down like da-da-da-da. And then I listened to the words and I said, shit, my mom was the first person to break my heart. Okay? And I knew that no fault of her own because she had an addiction. And when you come from those kind of homes, you experience abandonment and neglect, but not on purpose, because my mom was the shit, okay? You know, okay, I didn't tell my mama. Okay, but she had her faults and they impacted me, and I can't lie about it. Right? And now that I know that, it's time to be able to help other people understand that the wounds start before the relationship. And if you get to that, that's the core of it a lot of times. As a therapist, that's where I start. At home, what you learn. So today we're going to explore that with my panelists here for segment 1. And we're going to go straight down the line. We're going to share this mic like hot potato. Alright, so this first question is, describe your primary relationship with your caregivers. What did it teach you, directly or indirectly, about love, safety, and connection? And as I said, my mom had an addiction, so it taught me that love wasn't stable. Right? It was dependent upon the circumstances and what was going on at that current moment, whether I would receive it or not. So as a kid, I was always like excited about seeing my mom, and then when she would go, I'd be like, damn, I can't see my mom no more. And I view love the same way. I never expected to stay. So I had an anxious attachment style.
I don't know if my mother's here yet.
Don't get me up.
I'm still a little bit of her.
Yeah, I'm telling.
I feel like with my family, for the most part, I spend a lot of time with my grandmother. My mother had an addiction too, but she was on the opposite end of the spectrum. She was addicted to taking drug addicts. So my mother was outside all the time. So I spent a lot of time at my grandmother's house. So she raised me most of the time. I feel like I was taught love was more material things. My mother bought me anything and everything I wanted. The things I didn't want, but I wanted more affection. I wanted more love, but my family just wasn't affectionate. But it wasn't her fault. My grandmother wasn't affectionate.
Grandmother's fault.
My grandmother was a mean lady. she was a mean lady, but I think she had that guard up to protect her over the years. Like I learned that about her. So I would say that's what I experienced and felt I was shown love.
In my household as a kid, I felt like it was a lot of secrets. My mother and I hid that, so I can tell you the tea. I just felt like it was a lot of secrets. I definitely was brought up off of material stuff. You know, I'll give you this if you be quiet. My mother, she was around. She loved on me. She was a good mom. Never, I never needed anything. Like, she was always there. But I felt like I wasn't protected all the way because my mother used to party a lot. So I was always home. And with my father, well, I grew up in a house with my mother, my stepfather, my brother, and my sister. My father was always in my life, like always in my life. But I felt like he was more so of like, he gonna make sure I'm good. Like, he gonna make sure I got the latest Jordans, the latest jewelry, long plaits. He gonna make sure I'm good. But nobody taught me how to love. Nobody taught me how to have a voice. I've never had a voice until today. But yeah, my mother, she was around. She still is around. That's my best friend. I feel like our love has grown over the years as I got older. But as a kid, I was always so shy. I never would tell my business because it was always secrets. Y'all know what I'm talking about. But yeah, that's it.
Alright, my story is slightly different. Growing up, I grew up in a single household. My mom held it down, raising 2 children, going to college. She got a master's degree. We had our secrets as well, but I didn't really learn about those secrets until I became an adult. We had real adult conversations. Then there was my dad. My dad was around, but he wasn't in the household with us. My father wasn't affectionate. He wasn't the lovey-dovey type that said, hey baby, I love you, you're my baby girl. I wasn't that traditional daddy's girl that most women or girls experience with their dad. And I was okay with that because I just figured, that's just normal. Like, I just take what I can get. So that kind of shaped me to me becoming an adult and having relationships, not being affectionate, not wanting to hold hands, not wanting to express my love out in the open. Like, behind closed door, I'll be all over you. But in the open, don't touch me, don't put your hand around me, anything. It's like, don't touch me. Because that's the type of love I received from my dad. But my dad, he loved me. I know he did for sure. He told me about 3, 4, 5 times. Or maybe when I got in trouble, he'll tell me, just so I can stop getting in trouble. But for the most part, my mom, the way that I was raised was, you do it yourself. You have to go out there, you can't depend on anybody to do it for you. You need to go out there, you need to go get your degree. You need to get a job. You need to have benefits. You need to go buy a house. I did all of that on my own with the support of my mother. And that's how I grew up. And it was kind of hard for me to allow somebody to come in and say, let me help you. Let me show you how to do this, or let me pay this or buy this for you. No, I was too good. I was too good to accept gifts because my mother told me don't accept gifts. So that's the kind of love that I grew up with. It made me to who I am today because I know now that if I was forced to do things on my own, I can. However, I had to shake that off and allow someone in to at least help me, because I want that person to stick around. And if they feel like they aren't needed, then feel like, what the hell am I here for? So I grew up with just love, but it was tough love. And I started to do that myself to other people, to my partners, as I grew up in different relationships. So that's how I was introduced to love.
So, of course, it was different for me as growing up as a young black man, black boy in my household. It's funny, when I think about my relationship with my parents and watching them, I look at the generational gap that I had, because my parents had me when they were 4. And then, on top of that, and I was the youngest of 3. And on top of that, my parents were born in 1950, so they was like the baby boomers, that baby boomers generation. So their ideologies and what love was and what marriage was stick with it no matter what. It don't matter what happens. That's my husband, that's my wife. I don't care if his right leg chopped off. We together, you know what I mean? So for me, seeing that, I think helped later on when it came to me getting ready to get married and understanding and being able to see that stability, if that makes sense. My father, he had a temper problem, and I don't know if temper problems can transfer to the kid like that, but it did. I had some of those issues too, but I also was able to see the sweet things that he would do for my mom, right? One of the things, and I plan to do this with my kids, I ain't gonna lie to you, but one of the things that he used to do every Christmas, he would wrap gifts for my mom and make me take them down and put them on the couch. My mom would be in the living room, and I'm thinking I'm doing something as a kid, but I didn't realize at the time was he was showing me how to love, treat your wife. My mother, she would just get a kick out of it. You know what I mean? But for me, as a child at that time, being so young, those were some of the small things that I was able to pick up. Being able to have my father in the household, which I think a lot of people have missed growing up. And I really do, just being honest, I cherish the fact that I was able to grow up with my father in my house. It wasn't always pretty, it wasn't always the greatest thing, but that's what I would say my relationship was with my parents.
Thank you guys for those answers, right? And one thing that we gotta acknowledge is the absence of a dad. Right? That is a really huge thing. I lost my dad when I was little to a drug overdose. Right? And not having him was one of the most pervasive wounds that I had. When they said that he's seen what love's supposed to look like. I ain't see it. My grandmother, she loved me. I know she did because she took me everywhere. She did stuff with me and all that. But I don't remember her saying I loved you until I went to college. When I wasn't in the house no more. We did not hug. We were not huggers. Right? So now when people try to hug, it's like, so I understand what you put in Kendra here. It's like, yeah, we don't do that. No. Like, and then you want to tongue it? No, right? Because that's not the kind of affection that I was shown. I didn't know that that's what we're supposed to do. But you have to learn those things because if you don't, right? And when you miss a house with affection, you don't know how that should look out in the real world. Like, how should people look at you? How should people appreciate you? How should a man treat you? Not knowing that and having to figure that out in the trenches? Okay, that's risky business. Alright, so the next one, how was love shown in your home? Was it expressed in words, actions, survival, silence, or something else? With my house, it was actions. Right? Now that's how I show love. I do. But now I have to think. Because if someone doesn't do anything, I think that they don't love you. But they could have a whole nother way of expressing their love. So it helps when we are experiencing one type of love, it gets miscommunicated. Because if we don't receive that exact type of love back, this person doesn't love me. But that's not the case all the time. You have to learn how other people communicate in love. Okay, so how was love shown in your household?
Love was shown through action when it came to like my mom. Like I said, she was a gifter. I had extravagant birthday parties. I had all the gifts in the world. My father was murdered when I was 9. Of course, my mother was a young mother. She didn't know nothing about therapy. She took me to Disney World. So it was more of a action thing on my mother's side. But it's all on my father's side, they are very affectionate. Like my grandmother, my great-grandmother, it was so weird being over there with them sometimes. Because they'll like kiss you, but they'll kiss you on the lips. And I used to be like, no, kiss me on my cheek. Like, it was different just having those different dynamics. So that's how I would say love was shown in both sides of my family. How do I show love? I'm an action person. Like, I'll say it, but I prefer to show you. And I still don't believe if you don't show me, you don't love me. Like, you can tell me you love me all day. It don't have to always be gifts, but it has to show up in your actions that you love me. If you're inconsistent, you don't love me. If you're not talking to me, you don't love me. So I need to see it. You can't talk my head off. It don't work for me. Because also my father, before he passed, I have a lot of memories of my father, even though he died when I was 9. Like, my father was a protector. So in my mind, if you're going to be with me, you got to protect me. My father made sure he always told me he loved me and showed me love. So I can't be with my hands on head days.
Alright, my love was shown with gifts. It was always gifts. Like, you want the new Jordans, you want this, you want that, like it was always gifts. Like, it wasn't action, it just was presence. Like, if they know I'm upset, you see them new Jordans that came out, you want them? Yeah. But it wasn't really like action. Everything was always given to me. Of course, yeah. Because I felt like the gifts was a cover-up. Because they didn't know how to show love. And I don't blame my parents because I know they wasn't shown it as kids. Like, their parents didn't teach them that because their parents didn't know. So, I don't blame them. I was always shown the gifts.
In my household was more so action. We didn't really speak it a lot. My dad definitely didn't speak it at all. But I was very troubled as a teen. I used to run my mouth a lot to adults because I was a baby and I've always been around a lot of adults. So I knew everything. My mom was in education for 35 years, so you couldn't tell me anything. The teachers couldn't tell me shit. They tried to tell me something, I tell them what the rules are because my mother is also in Baltimore City Public Schools too. So for us, it was, the way love was shown was to keep me out of trouble in a way. It was, hey, I want you to know I love you. I need you to behave yourself. I need you to stop doing this. That's when I would be told, I love you. And it just didn't register to me until I got older as an adult and really understood because we weren't a family that communicate. We don't talk about our feelings. We don't talk about the situation that just happened. I just got jacked up by my brother and he took me off my feet and had me jacked up on the wall. And then probably like some hours later, we just laughing and kikiing talking about, oh, you hungry? What do you want to eat? So we didn't really talk about our feelings or situations that happened. We just ignore them and we just move on. So as an adult, I'm like, I'm gonna change that for my children. I know randomly, I just scream out to my kids, I love you, baby. Do you love mommy? Like, do you love daddy? Do you love mama? Things like that. So I'm just trying to change that narrative now because I knew I was loved, but it wasn't really communicated in the household. It was more so communicated when I was in trouble. And I don't want that same thing to my children. I want them to know whether they're in trouble, whether they're doing good, or just not doing anything, that they are loved. So that's how love was received and communicated to me.
So remember I told y'all my parents was old school, so love in my household would look like ass whippings. I ain't gonna lie to you. Like a lot of ass whippings, especially being a young boy. Yeah, I love you, but here, take this, whack, whack, whack. So, I mean, love, especially in a household, I think, at times it can, I hear, the action and the gifts. But I think it can manifest in so many different ways in the household. Love can be hard in the household, love can be ass whipping in the household, love can be tough, saying what you need to hear, not what you want to hear. I'm learning that now with my 5-year-old. So I think the household I was able to go up in, it looked like fights sometimes. You know what I mean? It looked like, the truth being told and me being the youngest and I'm sitting there like, yeah, he ain't mine, but I'm stay out of it because, you know what I mean? It looks like sometimes you might overhear your parents yelling about something in the bedroom and you trying to stay quiet and trying to stay out of it because, you just hoping, I hope they get through. You know what I mean? I never forget, my parents was arguing terribly one time, and my older brother, me and my brother are 9 years apart. And I was terrified. And he pulled me to the side and said, that's all right, mommy and daddy just getting old. He held me up. And that was love for me at that time because my parents couldn't do it. My sister, she's doing whatever she's doing. So I think it can manifest in so many different things. I think amongst us and our families, everybody, it manifests in different ways. And I think as long as we are able, especially trying to put it in our kids, so that they can take care of each other when we aren't always at our best, it can continue to grow within our family.
One thing that I heard mentioned is stay consistent, right? A lot of times you think you have both parents in the household, but what if them always has to work? What if one of them always has to work? That still gives that same inconsistent love, right? There's no malicious intent behind it because they got to put food on the table, especially if they're a single parent. They have to work hard. So those nights when you got to come, like I was a latchkey kid. I had to walk home from school by myself. Right, and being young, key around my neck. If I lost that kid, I would get my ass whipped because everybody knew where I lived at and they would come in there. That was what my grandmother thought, right? But all of those things and just being in those kind of situations and seeing love be inconsistent, when things are inconsistent, we get addicted to them. Right? Because we like, oh my gosh, that felt so good. When is it coming back? When is it coming back? And we're scratching for it. And if love's inconsistent, my grandma worked hard, my mom had an addiction. Dang, every love is inconsistent. And then when you get your ass whipped, you want to love hurts too. So you expect it to be inconsistent. And when you expect love to be inconsistent in your relationships, you normalize things that actually should hurt. Right? You allow shit that should not be going on. Nobody should be able to double dutch in and out your fucking life. But when you learn that it's inconsistent, you're like, oh, this is normal. This is okay. But as we grow and we pay attention to these wounds, you learn that that's not okay. Right? And then that grows into unmet needs as an adult. As an adult, I seek attention. I used to seek attention so much. People pleasing and trying to make sure that I was useful so that I would not be abandoned. Let me show you what I can do. Like, I can come into a room and I can immediately know what everybody needs in that room and I can get to work. Right? But what about what Tanisha needs? I didn't pay that attention for a very long time. But now that I know that, I pay attention to what do I need in this situation. It's not always about everybody else. Okay? And I learned to take up space even though I was minimizing myself as a kid. So the next question, what unmet needs from childhood do you think followed you into adulthood relationships? My need for validation. My need to feel stable and secure. The moment you show me that you was like, you get one toe, I'm going to act and ask because now my attachment system acting up. Right? And I don't know whether you're ready to come or go, so I'm going to prepare for you to go. And when I prepare for you to go, I'm going to trash. Right? And that's not okay. I had to learn it. But I learned that through hurting people. Right? I had to see what I was doing, but I had to care enough. Right? So next question. What unmet needs from childhood do you think followed you into your adult relationship?
I feel like consideration. I feel like consideration is one, and I feel like safety. After my father passed away, I didn't feel safe anymore. I never forget this one day, I was with my father. He was over one of his girlfriend's house. I was over there with him, and I'm sitting at the table, him, the girl, and myself. She's being so nice to me while my father is right there. My father goes to the bedroom, she turns to like a monster. And I'm a kid, I'm sitting there, and I'm like, I'm trying not to move because I don't know what she gonna do. She just saying stuff to me, she's being mean. My father come out the bedroom, she go back to being nice. We go get in the car. My father's like, do you like her? And I was like, no. And he like, what happened? And I was like, nothing. He like, no, tell me what happened. And I was like, when you went to the bathroom, she started being mean to me. He said, lock the doors, I'll be right there. I don't know what he did to her. I don't know what he did. But he came back to the car. And he said, you will never have to worry about her again. He said he beat her up. He said, I don't care who it is. If somebody do something to me, you tell me. I love you. You my baby. I'm going to always protect you. So when my father passed away, I'm telling you, like, protecting him. And like I said, my mother was always outside. And I'll be at my grandmother's house and I'll be waiting in the vestibule for her. And she'd be like, she not coming to get you tonight. She not coming to get you tonight. And she wouldn't come to get me tonight. So I grew up realizing all I got is me. All I got is me to keep me safe. And like I said, I don't blame my mother. Because one, my grandmother wouldn't let her take me when she left. Because again, all her boyfriends went to federal prison. They were dangerous men. It wasn't safe to be around. But again, they still hindered me in a way. So like I say, I resented her for a while, but when I got older, I understood her. But still, I carry that in my adulthood. At the end of the day, nobody got jazz in my life. Jazz in my life. There's jazz.
Something that followed me was emotional support and taking accountability, and also sexuality. I felt like nobody told me about my body parts and like what to do with it because it was taken advantage of. And it kind of followed me as my daughter. And like I said before, like everything was always gifted, you know. So me using, not saying I was a prostitute or anything like that, but I felt like I had to get gifts because nobody taught me not to give it away just so easy, because it just can get taken away from you so easy. So that kind of followed me, and that's why I started going to church, because I felt like with women, our body parts is like, it means so much to us, and it also means so much to men out here. They don't care how you look, as long as you got the body, they'll be whatever, and they'll give you whatever. And I felt like that followed me. And I got a daughter, and I got a son. And as me being a parent, I always ask them, like, have anybody ever touched you? Anybody ever played with your butt? Did anybody ever say, I'm gonna give you this, and you don't say nothing? So it kind of followed me, but it also helped me in a way, because I can be a better parent. I can teach my kids things that I wasn't taught. And I always tell them, let your mother know if anybody ever do anything to you, don't take nothing from nobody, and you call the police.
For me, it was just the lack of affection. I have a hard time expressing my feelings. I have a hard time communicating. I have a hard time asking. I don't like to ask for help. I don't like to ask anybody to do anything for me because I don't want it to be held against me at a later time. To this day, I still go through things where people are saying, well, I did this for you and I did that for you. Well, I did a ton of shit for you too. But you won't hear me repeat it. You won't hear me repeat it because it's not needed. Like, why would I repeat it? I did it because that's the type of person that I am. But you feel that it's okay to go to shit in my face. So for me, it's just hard to communicate. That's what I'm trying to break now, is the communication. The lack of communication and being more affectionate. I'm very affectionate with my children. I'm working on being even more affectionate with my husband. We've been together and married for 4.5 years now. And now that I'm being more affectionate, he's like, is everything okay? What's wrong? Are you okay? Oh, you're super happy. Like, oh, what's going on? So those are things that I'm trying to break now as an adult, that I've learned and I've taken from my childhood and growing up with love in the household.
So I was looking at this question, China, and I was really thinking about it as far as things that you carry from your childhood into your adulthood. I think this is something that us, from our men in the back, can definitely understand, as far as holding in how we feel. A lot of times, especially when I was a kid, you might not necessarily hear your father actually express to your mom how he feels at that moment. But you might get in the car with your father for a ride, or whoever for a ride, and he'd be like, that. You know what I'm saying? He letting it out, but he managed to keep it in when we were in the household in order to keep the family together. So I feel like that's one of the things that I would carry with me. As far as, because, and I know I'm in a room full of lovely ladies and all of that, you know what I'm saying? But I really want to tell you that it's a lot of pressure on the man handling that household. I got a 5-year-old, a 2-year-old, 2 boys, my wife in the house. And I had to learn how to control my emotions, even when she's zapping and losing her mind. I had to be the logical one in the room the whole time.
Thank you for that,
You know what I'm saying?
The logical.
Because
When the women is losing it, you don't lose it too.
because if I'm not, then we all cook. You know what I'm saying? We all cook. So I think that's one of the things that even though it's not always pretty, I'm not saying I'm perfect at it. You know what I mean? I'm not saying that I don't have my moments, but I think that was one of the things that I was able to take from a kid growing up, as to be trying to be that stable force, even when I know stuff ain't even right all the time. The last thing I would say is trying to search for loyalty in somebody and actual support from somebody. Because growing up, in our eyes as young black men, we see the other parts. We see, oh, she was just with short, she was just blah, blah, blah. So that was hard for us to sometimes decipher the action behind who really the one and who not. You know what I mean? So those are the things that I would say typically.
Thank you, right? And you see how easy it is to uncover wounds, right? We just having a conversation and you come across things that really impacted you, how you turned out, how you love each other, how you protect yourself. Like a lot of times when things happen to us, it rewires our entire alarm system, right? It changes how we view ourselves. And one of those things, right, about promiscuity as a woman, we learn, well, if you're in those unstable households, you learn that you have to do for somebody to love, right? So you give, and then when it comes to that time, right, when people start having sex, and they like, well, yeah, I want that. You like, and I remember, like, no, I don't. I was the last one to lose my virginity. I did not want to, okay? But then I started to see, like, damn, when I didn't give him, now he was mad. Then now he don't talk to me anymore. Now he don't talk to me anymore. And I was pressured. And now I look back at it like that, was I even really ready? Did I even really like this person like that? Like I got dressed, my friends walked me down the street like it was a ritual. Like, they took me to lose my virginity. Like, come on, you put your dress on, you put your skirt on, and I'm like, I'm ready now, right? But no, I was performing again, okay? When we have those rules, it really impacts how you turn out. We develop some negative traits. We develop some defense mechanisms. We change because of these experiences. So that brings us to segment 2, the first deep wound. You don't know what that looks like until you keep seeing it again. The patterns, pay attention to the patterns, the shit that you do over and over again. You're like, what the? Yeah, look, pay attention. So we are running on time, but so I'm going to shorten these segments a little bit. So we've talked about some things, okay? So I want to know, what was the first emotional wound that you experienced? For me, it was the first boyfriend I really felt like I loved, right? He was a hoe, like a real bad one, right? But you could not tell me that. You couldn't tell me that he was the best thing since sliced bread to me. Right, but to see him choose other people over me over and over again, right, but then still be like, yeah, and I believed it. I still thought that he had feelings for me because I learned that love is inconsistent. So it's okay if he leaves, right, but no, that actually hurt it. And I learned right then and there, well, shit, I cannot be these men. I gotta join them. And I became just as hard as them. You could not tell me that I was not one of the guys. That emotional wound changed me. Oh yeah, what is your first emotional wound and how did it impact you? First time you had that heartbroken.
I feel like I thought I had heartbreak until I experienced love at first sight. That's when I experienced heartbreak. Because it was very unexpected. I didn't expect to like him. I didn't expect to fall in love with him, and I didn't expect to lose him as soon as I did. was already a person who didn't like to get attached to people. He was just an affectionate person. He made dating him so easy. Like, everything was fun. It wasn't, all relationship they talk about on social media. I feel like now we make dating like we want a job interview. I don't like that. You know, it was just always fun. It was fun. It was us being ourselves. Completely authentic. Like, this is who I am. And you accept me? And before him, I thought I was in love. But I was in a bad relationship with somebody that was insecure. I was my first time when I was 21. I found my purpose early. And the guy I was with at that time, he didn't find his. So he did everything in his power to make me feel like shit. So when I left out that relationship, as beautiful as I know I am now, I felt ugly. I didn't think I was pretty. I was still dressing the same. I was still getting up with the makeup. I was still doing the same thing. But I didn't see myself in that. But when I met B, he wasn't jealous of me. Every time I turned around, he was like, you know you that bitch, right? You got your own business. He's like, you know you got your own bags? Bitches fucking bags. He was hype me up and he was funny. And I'm like, are you? He's like, yes, you that girl. And it was days I felt like shit, he didn't know. He just built my confidence up every day. And when he died, I felt like I died. I was dating somebody. I told them yesterday, hey, don't come to the event tomorrow. I'm done with you. You don't make me happy. What you doing don't make me happy. So bye. You're emotionally immature, I'm done with you. I find now I don't even think I love people. I tolerate it. I let them in just enough. Because I know they're going to be special. And they be so put off guard because they like, I thought you loved me. I thought I did too. You took off your mask. I like your mask. I love your mask. I don't know who this person is. I don't love this person. I see this person. I don't know this person. I don't want this person. See this person with me. And it's not hard for me to dispose of people because when you lose somebody to death, it's permanent. I can't call him and talk. I can't go see him. It's out of my control. That somebody in school will get their way. That is the worst shit in the world. So again, it's not hard for me to let people go. I've experienced the worst thing I can experience when it comes to love. So, for me, that is my first emotional part of that. It was heartbreak. Okay. I was in a relationship for 15 years with no ring. Yes, I've been in a relationship for 15 years with no rings. We done been through everything. When I say everything, I mean everything. We grew up together. And he cheated, I cheated. You know, I caught him, he caught me. But my first heartbreak was addiction. When I found out he had an addiction. I can get past the cheating. I can get past everything, but the addiction, I could not get past. And I felt like that was the worst heartbreak ever. I sat in my car one day and I cried and I called my mother. I took him to the hospital. And when the doctor said, fentanyl. I told you. I didn't know what fentanyl was. Like, I'm like, what is fentanyl? Like, what is fentanyl? So I had a friend. I called her. I'm like, what is fentanyl? She's like, the worst thing that a man can take.
And I felt like he wanted to die. I felt like he was selfish. We had a son. And I felt like, who do you love if you don't love yourself? And like I said, besides the cheating, I can get past that. But the addiction, that was my very first heartbreak. He's now incarcerated, and I feel like right now, I feel so free. I love him to death, but I just feel so free. When I used to be in the house by myself, I used to be scared to go to sleep because he wasn't next to me. But now, girls, I feel so good because I feel protected now. I feel like God showed me and he just came into my life because I kept asking God, like, can you show me who's for me and who's not for me? If they're not for me, get rid of them. And I swear to God, every day, people just kept this in the pen. Right now, I don't have nobody in this crowd that know me but one person. But my mother not here. Nobody really, none of my friends is here. But I felt like God is showing me something. And I'm just ready for this new journey. I ain't trying to get no more heartbreaks. And yeah, how late coming up.
I want to say my first heartbreak was abandonment. I was dating a guy that I was just so infatuated with. I was like, oh, you look good, you smell good, you're taller than me.
Oh, boy, that's part of the job.
Exactly. That's what you gotta hold on to. Look, I'm 5'11", but everybody else will argue me down that I'm 6'1". I'm 5'11", the doctor said so. But I had a man that was taller than me and he was cute. I was like, oh, I'm in love. We grew up different sides of the track. You know, he's from the hood, I'm from the county. And he just showed me different kind of love. But he just like ghosted me. And I'm like, what the hell? Like I thought I was doing everything right. He told me, you know, he told my mother he was going to marry me and all this other stuff. I was just infatuated with him. And he just abandoned me. Like, he just stopped answering text messages, got a new phone number. I'm like, WTF? Like, what happened? And randomly, I'm standing on the corner, getting ready to go to the hair salon one day. And this fool then drove up on me. Like, bougie, what are you doing out here in the street? I'm like, the fuck? I know people was in the salon looking at me like I'm about to have like a domestic altercation and I'm like ready to fight. And I let him back in and he did it again. And he was the first, but he wasn't the last. It happened again with somebody else I was dating. He just randomly went away. Oh, but he went away for a terminal illness. But still, you could communicate that shit with me and let me know. I'm sorry. I want to be there for you. Like, oh, have mercy. And because of those heartbreak situations, I did the same thing to them. Like, you make me mad, I'm going to block you. I'm going to ghost you. I'll block you on social media. I'll block your phone numbers. I don't talk to you anymore. You can DM me. You can get your friends to call me. I'm still going to ignore you. And I had to break that cycle because my husband wasn't going nowhere. He told me from the beginning, oh, you will be my wife. I said, yeah, all right. Like, that's not for me. Like, I didn't grow up seeing a whole bunch of healthy marriages, but I didn't see a lot of toxic marriages neither, so I really didn't know what to expect from marriage. It wasn't a goal of mine. It wasn't something that I was looking forward to. But he told me, this is what you're going to do, this is what I'm going to do, and he made it happen. So I had to break that. You can't abandon someone when you're upset or things are not going your way. You have to communicate and talk about the situation. So, okay, we can talk about that. But I had to grow up and put my big girl under there and figure it out as an adult. So that's what happened.
On behalf of the, well, I used to be in the Players Club, I apologize. on behalf of the, the Players Club. Like, I don't want to get my car revoked a long time. First heartbreak. So I thought about my very first one, my puppy love one, when I was in middle school, and I made this girl a Valentine's Day card, and she ripped it up. Listen, I remember her first and last name. I ain't gonna do it, but I remember her first. I ain't gonna cook her like that. No, she's not here. And then when I got to college, let me tell y'all something real quick. In men's circles, when a man get his heart broke, their homeboys is the worst people. Their homies is the worst. Y'all seen Paid in Full when Camera like, you shot 8 day B, that's how your homeboys carry. You know what I mean? And I was in love with this chick. Bad in times. Like I wasn't about to say it, I ain't gonna say it, but nah, I was in love with this girl. And this was like one of my first real situations that I was in. And she started dealing with a person who was a part of the crew, but he wasn't like a part of the crew for if that makes sense. You know what I mean? And when I tell you, like when I say I was going through it, I was with one friend, my homeboy, I say is the TJ. I was with him every day, just spouting. You know what I'm saying? Like hurt. And all I could think of was my favorite rapper, Jay-Z. On SoundCloud, when he like, man, I'm a man that cry. You don't just sit like that. You don't just pick up and leave and leave sit like that. You don't throw away what we had just like that. That's how I felt. That's how I felt. You know what I mean? So, but that experience, I'm not gonna lie to y'all, that experience made me be like, all right, well, now I started feeling like, all right, every chick that I come across is just a part of a season. And she gonna go do her thing and I'm gonna go do mine. And so that's how I would carry it. So for a while, the relationships that I was in after that, dealing with chicks, I had a bunch of say, you just be together. I'm like, nah, you gonna go do your thing anyway, it's only a season. And so for a while, it took me a minute as a man, you know what I mean, to get over that piece to finally be like, okay, you know, I'm ready for something real.
Now see, those first heartbreaks, I'm glad I brought my man in here because a lot of times we think men don't get their heart broke, right? We think that they don't have feelings because they have to mask their emotions. Like, they have to mask their emotions because it's tied to their safety, right? Men can't be out here being vulnerable. Men out here being vulnerable is seen as a weakness. So for them to acknowledge that they're hurt, that's minimal, right? That's minimal. So with these wounds, right, did it make you a monster? Me? Man. I used to trash a motherfucker, man. You cannot tell me. We used to call it hoe handling and finessing. Okay? And I was one of the finest hoe handlers. Okay? I was able to do some shit. But I was not connecting. Like I was still starving. Like I got like some closeness, but no real intimacy. No real connection. If I really had to show emotion, only one man seen it during that period of time. Everybody else got like, yeah, shit cool. But to try to love like that, you'll never end up with anything that makes sense, that means something to you. Alright? So I want to know about y'all toxic phase and what y'all was doing to these people.
I'm hell. I'm the prettiest problem a man or woman is going to ever have. Because I've dated women. So, prior, I'm going to say, after that relationship that I was in before V, when I got out of that relationship and I came outside,
that's the one.
when I came outside, I met V, and it was easy. And when he passed away, I was extra hell, and I had to mask that I was grieving. Yo, I was going on dates every day, like 7 days a week. My best friend was like, "You want to stop?" I was like, "No. What I got to stop for? I'm having fun."
Different man every day.
And I was finding that I liked something about each one of them that reminded me of V. But when I realized it wasn't him, I discarded him. I don't really like them. I'm done. Yeah, like, I don't want to talk to him. But then, yeah, my mama always told me date them all anyway. Right. But once I seen
A woman,
that, again, he built my confidence back up. And I'm going on dates with guys, and I'm like, you missed my birthday. My birthday in March. It's June. He's like, alright, what you want? Oh, I want a Tiffany bracelet. Okay, we going to the mall tomorrow. Now I got a Tiffany bracelet with a bunch of charms. And now my ex was B trying to spin the block. I said, I'm not coming back with you. You broke. These niggas outside got money. And all I gotta do is look pretty. So, I'm still hell. I'm probably not gonna stop. I'm just being honest. I haven't met nobody that made me want to stop.
That's what it is.
Like, I literally haven't met nobody that makes me want to stop.
Keep going. That's right.
Really shit. We're supposed to be healing here, guys.
But that's the thing with healing isn't linear. So it's not always, and this is what I'm starting to hate about the whole healing thing. I'm tired of seeing this shit online as love and life, sound bowls. Sometimes it's cussing a motherfucker out. That makes me feel good. Telling you about yourself, that makes me feel better. Now I can go on with my life. I ain't holding that in. Living in your, who are you?
Right.
I'm gonna be me. My mama tried to contain me some years ago. She was like, I don't think you should say that online. I don't care what you think. I'm March the 30th. I'm Aries.
Another toxic trait. I used to be really, really toxic. I used to go on the block with him, you know, where he used to be at. Yeah, bringing all his clothes, TV that he just bought. I don't care. Throw it on the block, throw his shoes, all that outside because I didn't care because I was toxic. You was cheating. But after when he went to jail, y'all, I'm not gonna lie. Like I felt like I can really have my way out here. Like I really can. Like you don't even gotta do nothing. Like long as I show up, I can really get what I want. I ain't have to pay a bill yet. I had a nigga land next to me, wasn't doing nothing. Not saying that he had a job at one point. You know, I was a stay-at-home girlfriend at one point. This is when my content used to really hit. But I felt like he started following after his friends and everything kind of like went down. And I was handling it on my own. So I was always like one of those ones, I don't need a nigga for nothing because I'm going to hold it down. But once he left and I really realized like I can really have my way out here, yeah, it was up. And I feel good. I don't even want to be in a relationship. Until I find my husband, you know, if he come along, he come along. But right now, I'm free. I feel good. I look good. I don't got to worry about nothing. Like, for real. Like, real shit. BGE was $1,300. Hey, boo. Yeah, my BGE hot. Click over, call BGE. I got you. Like, shit like that. But I had a nigga land next to me where I got to really do all of that. But I feel like right now, I feel so free because I've been in a relationship for so long. I really didn't find myself. Listen, I really felt like I've been in a relationship for so long. I done been through the ups, the downs, the circles, the rounds. With one guy. And I really stuck by his side because of my mother. My mother had been with my stepfather since I was 2. I'm 34 years old. So I was always taught, you know, hold your nigga down. But as I got older and I realized, I ain't holding no nigga down that can't hold me down. So yeah, like, I was toxic, but I'm healing. I'm going to church every Sunday.
love it. Oh, I'm an Aquarius. I'm just quiet. I'm kind of silent. Like, I don't like confrontation at all. But I don't push it. Yeah, I'm very quiet. I take as much as I can. That's something that I've learned to break. Just take as much. Just listen to everybody. The toxicity in me was wanting to get violent. Until I realized you can go to jail. You can be charged. You won't be able to work in the future. You won't be able to do certain things with felony charges on your record. So I really had to calm down. Because as a child, my mom worked a lot. She was a single mom of 2 children, and I was home a lot by myself. My oldest sibling was that was in the house with me. He was 8 years older than me, so he was out in the military. So he had the big machete in the basement because he had his storage of all his military things because he moved around. And so it was like, oh, you want to play this? And so let me go to the basement. But I really had to calm down because that's not fun. Well, I wanted to be known as someone randomly came back around. Like, this was a while ago, but they came back around after some years talking about, I remember you pulled the knife out on me and told me to get out your house. I was like, I don't remember that shit. But that was the toxicity in me. But growing up, I just knew I couldn't go down with the felony. I knew a lot of other people with felonies that was having a hard time out here in these streets. So I said, no, I don't want to go down that path. So that's the most toxic for me. I can't say it came from a relationship, but I know I had it in some of my relationships. But yeah, I can't top anything that they've been through. My hands are down because nowadays I'm too scared to do shit.
My therapist brain working a little bit, so I want to give y'all. I'm sorry. It's a part of it. Your toxic ways or your toxic moments can sometimes create toxic cycles. And what happened is you pick up some of those toxic cycles and you don't even realize that you're doing things and you're in this cycle over and over. Right? So sometimes I tell some of my clients, some of my women clients, that you have to be careful because, and I'm gonna get to some of my toxic ways, but because men know how to gaslight, which was one of my toxic traits.
It's one in the bag.
Right? What you talking about? What you mean? That ain't me. But you get caught in these cycles because of you're being used to the toxic ways, and sometimes your trauma can become norms. I say this a lot. Once your traumas become norms, you don't necessarily know that it's unhealthy. So what ends up happening? You just doing your thing. You know what I mean? You're doing your thing, and you're in this cycle over and over and over again, not realizing that it's not healthy. Just keep slashing tires. You know what I'm saying? You keep meeting this guy, you keep meeting this person, you keep meeting that person, and next thing you know, you're catching yourself in this toxic cycle over and over again. So I would say, during my toxic time, my main thing was at least had 3. That was my main. At least have a top 3. Top 3 pick. That was my thing. Because once I told y'all my situation, I felt like, all right, well, once Shorty ain't here, then Shorty will be here, then I get Shorty, you know what I mean? And that was my toxic cycle that I went through for years. For a very long time, you know what I mean? So I just want, my therapist side came out when I was hearing everything, because your trauma can become your norms. You know what I mean? And if you're not aware of it, you think it's healthy, and then you take it into your relationships. And then when you're in your stable relationship, some of them toxic ways that you was doing in that cycle, they creep back in. I do it, I'm telling you what I know, you know what I mean? So, and it becomes some of those defense mechanisms that the other person or your significant other might not be ready to take, and you might have to sit down and get yourself together, so.
Thank you guys. Oh my gosh, right? I'm ready to party, right? So we're not gonna make it to segment 3, right? But I do want everybody to be able to give some advice and love, right? Before we start to cut a rug and I get them about these boots and let y'all show me what my mama made, okay? But my advice is to start to pay attention, right? It's not cool, like, the world makes being nonchalant cool. It's not cool, because when you be nonchalant, you ignore your own feelings, you minimize them. And when you minimize your feelings, your brain doesn't know that this is important. Our brain knows what's important by how much emotion we attach to it. So if you minimize the emotion attached to a situation, your brain doesn't know that it gives a shit. It doesn't know to give a shit about it. So it'll happen again. That's how you keep going again into these cycles. So pay attention. Acknowledge what hurts you. And give it the emotion that it deserves so that your brain can know, hey, we didn't like that shit. We're not going to let that happen again. Okay? So that's my piece with this, is to really pay attention so that you can understand your patterns. Advice and love. What you got?
Advice and love, I want to say know yourself. Know what you want.
Know your worth.
Don't, when it comes to your standards, whatever it is you want, whatever it is you require, make it known. Don't settle for nothing less than that. Always say what you want. Do not, I repeat because I hate it, do not be the woman out here talking about, I don't ask for much, ask for it. Ask for it all. Because that's how you gonna get them out of there. Because if you ask and they can't do it, or they don't want to do it, they're not fixing. Men, when women start at 100, men start, they like them.
Yeah. I like that. Thank you.
My advice would be stay consistent, put God first, know your worth, get your point first, and follow your dreams. If you got a dream, just follow it. Don't be afraid. Don't be scared of failure. Yo, I ain't gonna lie, I was so scared to come here. But yeah, just put God first, stay consistent, work hard. Look at my mother. Girl, it's over. Stay consistent, be on time. Yeah, and love those who love you. And know the difference between love and lust. Because lust is tricky. Because I ain't gonna lie, y'all, I thought I found me a church husband. That man had a baby on the way. I know he was my husband, but girl, he is terrible. Again, stay consistent, put God first, know the difference between love and lust, and follow your dreams.
I would say be open. One thing I don't think I've mentioned is my husband is Nigerian. So me being an American woman, even though we're black, it's still an interracial relationship. Okay. My husband his family is a part of what is it? Is a part of royalty from where they're from. He is. I take that. My husband is Delta Igbo. So they are set in their ways. Okay. They have certain ways that their family operate. Like I have to greet his parents a certain way, Aliwe Ma or Anya Daddy. I even have to call my sisters, my oldest sister-in-laws. He's one of 10. I have to say, Aliwe Auntie. I have to call them Auntie. I don't call them by their name. How many of y'all calling y'all sisters Auntie? Ain't none of y'all, okay? So I say that to say, just be open. You know, me being open to that, because I told him before, like, what the fuck I look like calling her Auntie? Well, we was dating, and I said, what the fuck I look like calling her Auntie? She ain't my aunt. And then my mother-in-law corrected me, was like, you greet her as Auntie. She is the eldest of 10. You greet her as Auntie or Ma? I said, yes, ma'am. And ever since then, I've always greeted her as Auntie. And you know what? These women love the shit out of me. And people all ask me, like, how does it fit in a Nigerian family? Oh, I fucking love it. They love me. They love on my family. They love on my children. They spoil the shit out of me, okay? And it's amazing. So just be open. You know, me calling them auntie, it's not. It's nothing. It's nothing. If this is how you want to be respected, that's fine. It's not compromising my beliefs in anything. It's just adapting to something small can take you a long way. So just be open to some of the things. I'm not saying being open to everything, but just the small things will go a long way, and just put you where you need. Just live a stress-free life. That's just what it's about.
Some advice. I would say it's okay. One, it's okay to be alone for a while. No other person is going to fix your love problem unless you fix it. You heal it within yourself. It's just not going to happen. Prince Charming is just not about the. If you're going through your situation, if you're going through your cycles, Prince Charming not going to come down out of the sky and fix all of your issues. It's just not realistic. The second thing I would say is love looks different in every situation, every relationship. What her love relationship is ain't going to be yours. What hers is ain't going to be yours. Everybody's love looks different. So stop trying. Social media got y'all tripping a little bit because everybody is trying to get the perfect relationship and want it to look like something that they see. Work through what you have going on in your relationship. If that man is a truck driver, let that man drive them trucks. If he doing whatever it is, let that man, because it's gonna, everybody has to be, women want to be treated a certain way, but at the same time, you gotta be able to be that support too. So everybody's relationship is different. Do not compare your relationship to somebody else's relationship. And that's what I mean.
Everybody for keeping your attention span long enough. The ADHD in me is rocking. So you already know what I want to do. So we're going to break this down. We're going to take some pictures. Tiara got to say something. What's up?
You hear something wrong?
I'm sorry. Medicaid over at the moment. You got to leave your job to get state insurance. I'm sorry. Hey guys. Well, thank y'all so much. What you got to say? Come on, sir. Come on, AP. You know, I'm trying to cut a rug.
How much time I got?
You have about 3 minutes.
Alright, 30 minutes. I don't even do stuff like this, but differently. Tanisha been my therapist since 2020. I think he was fresh out of school. Like, I don't think he was.
I'm still wet behind you.
I'm trying to think where I got the money from to be paying out of pocket. Because Tanisha didn't take my private insurance. I had Blue Cross Blue Shield. She only $100. That's a lot.
Yes, like man.
What I got, 2 minutes left?
Speak fast.
So after that,
She talking about making work.
I catch a whole case. I go to jail for a whole year. I'm talking to Tanisha on the jail phone. Like, and anybody in jail, like, you need somebody to talk to. Tanisha was there for me. Definitely. I came home Christmas 2023. Christmas 2020. I've been seeing Tanisha every week since then.
I love that AT.
Yeah, and I don't do this, but do y'all get what I'm trying to say?
He used to be toxic, but I be in his ass. And he getting the messages.
Black men need therapy.
And that's what I meant to say first. I started seeing a therapist in 2018. I've been seeing like the traditional looking therapist, you know, like not our race.
Not in the trenches, Tanisha Williams. Yeah.
Not in the trenches. And it's like they didn't know what to do with me. Like when I see a traditional therapist and they see me, like they don't know where to start. Because people like me don't come to see a therapist. They don't like go in. When I found out about Tanisha and the therapist that's from the community, it really made a big difference. Yeah. That's 3 minutes.
Specials are over, so if you missed it, so sorry for your loss. So now go downstairs and just spin with Reagan. Go put somebody in some drinks. Tanisha dropped up, bro. We finna turn it up.
This what it should have been. She ain't no paper. Shit, she barely eating. She told me, yup, this nigga barely feeding me. God, you know what she was doing to me. That's why I speak for her. Why this shit ain't do to me. Like, so she be pursuing me.
It's Tanisha Williams, LCPC, the street's favorite therapist, checking in. And today was a freaking success. I am so happy. Thank you all so much for all your support, all your dedication, all your reposts, everything, sharing my content, buying the book. I over-exceeded the sales for tickets and books. I'm just so overwhelmed right now with joy for the outcome of this event. Thank you guys so much.